Okay, there we go. That was weird. Well, I guess it's gonna be even weirder if we deleted the last live feed. This is another live feed. We lost our internet connection, so for people watching this later on that didn't watch it live, it's gonna start off with me saying that was weird.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have no idea what I was talking about.
I rebooted the internet box. You would think for the amount of boosters and how much we pay for internet, you know, it would work.
Yep, but yet sometimes it doesn't. I think we're back though, but it doesn't look like it's buffering too bad. So, and the noise you might hear in the background was Melissa's making tea,
And the dog barking.
and now the dog is barking. Do you want to bring Chewy over for a
Chewy, come.
Chewy visit?
Chewy, come.
Chewy.
Chewy.
You know when you call your pet and they just stare at you like, why? That's what Melissa decided that she would be proactive there. She's going to bring the dog. Our dog has taught us to fetch it.
Oh,
That's what happened.
Chewy got a haircut.
Oh yeah. Well, they saw Chewy's haircut last time, didn't they?
Yeah, but
They know what he looks like. He
was
looks like a
hairy
little
the
deer.
last time.
He looks like a deer when he gets his haircut. Yorkies, there's not much to a Yorkie when they get their haircut. He's streamlined. But yeah. Anyway, let's see. Where were we at? We were talking about what I went through a building. We got a tow truck getting dropped off tomorrow. It's weird when you get a tow truck delivered because it's a tow truck delivering itself. I don't know what that would be like. That'd be like a chicken coming directly out of an egg and dropping an egg. You know, the chicken and the egg story, what delivers itself first, the tow truck or the tow truck? Anyway, there's a tow truck coming tomorrow, being dropped off by another tow truck. Yeah. So we were chatting, you know, let's do some question and answers. I think last time we did a live feed, we didn't do enough Q&A. And I really just want to chat with you guys back and forth. So we'll let you guys lead a little bit of the conversation.
They had a Yorkie for 20 years. Well, that's hopeful that we get to have Chewy for a while. He turns 4 on the 27th.
Somebody was watching about the live feed. No, I still have my blue Buick. I still have the old pickup that we built a new wood bed for. We put on the front patio where it was going to sit on display, and somebody walked up and said, "I need it," and they bought it. And that helped us to buy a Harley-Davidson, which was a really cool motorcycle. Somebody said, "Did Melissa's hand get injured?"
Oh yeah.
That wasn't. Her hand didn't get injured recently. That was years ago.
No, they were talking about did it get injured from getting
Not
run
this
over?
trip. Oh, it got injured from before, yeah.
From getting run over, yeah.
I took her to the hospital. We thought it was broken, but ended up, it kind of burst. Anyway, it healed.
Chamomile, that has to happen.
Yeah, she lost her finger in the accident. We replaced it with a tiny little pirate hook.
Wow.
So she's got one
Can
little
you
claw
imagine?
finger. Ah!
I don't even remember which knuckle it was, but let's just say you don't want to push any part of your body really hard.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
trust sleeping next to you if you had a hook on your finger. I'd wake up with scratches all over.
I
the
Not long.
Yeah. Okay. So.
I'm guessing you're right, Vinyl Earthlink.
Oh, somebody says, I guess you bought another 200 cars.
No, I'm guessing you have bought about 200 cars.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
probably. You know, the thing with old cars for me is that you have one, you drive it, you experience it, it's a fun vehicle, and then sometimes you can move on to something else. It's, I'm not as attached to things. And people who have worries that I'm going to become a hoarder or something like that, because I only show videos of me buying. Oh, somebody sent us super chat. Darren Twilliger says, Woody wagon videos, mainly because Woodies are cool. I'm glad you said Woody wagon videos. Oh, I'm a child. But yes, probably there will be more vehicle videos coming from that. I'm probably going to work on it tomorrow a little bit. It's got a few spots where the paint is chipping off, and I've got to do a little bit of work to it. But
He said a hook would make me the most popular teacher at school.
yeah, that's right. Well, I'm trying
glad
to.
you edited before you.
I'm
went to the
editing
same.
because it's a PG-13. These late night chats, folks. I tell you, sometimes.
My class doesn't start until second week of September for mine. I think my first class starts on the 8th. So, Yep, that's coming.
Rolls-Royce update. It's in progress.
I think it's at the same point as last time.
No, it's progressing. They've started to repair the brakes on it. It's just there hasn't been enough for me to show you guys an update video, because literally the update would be, hey guys, how's it going? Well, we're still waiting on the same parts. Cool. The end. The problem is that the parts for the Rolls are coming from England. It's not a problem. We like stuff from England. That's cool. But the shipping is quite delayed, and we were delayed on ordering the parts for the first bit because they were waiting for a car to come off of a hoist so they could get mine on it. Anyway, I had to wait for all that to happen. They got the car up, and the good news is the car is in really good shape out there. It just needs a few little parts. So we have to get it inspected, then hopefully we'll be on the road. And this is just my fear is happening, what I thought would happen. You take it in winter, and I said, guys, I really don't want to get the car back in winter. I'm going to miss all summer. And they're like, no, we understand you want to drive it in summertime. Well, guess what? By the time I get that car back, it's going to be winter here again. So I might have maybe a couple weeks of driving it before it gets parked
Well, a
again,
couple
but
weeks, that's not so bad.
it's a bit of a bummer, but yeah, you know.
There's always next summer.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on in the world
We
that's
know. You'll
affecting
hold on to it
shipping.
that long.
I actually kind of like it. Melissa is not a fan of Rolls-Royce cars.
Nah.
You know, but there's
I don't mind the car. I just don't like the grill.
That's supposed to be the best part of that car.
It's not. For me, it's the tackiest part of that car.
Okay, it's only
I
tacky.
know so many people really like those cars.
If
but
you
it's
have a
not for me.
Volkswagen Beetle and you stick a Rolls-Royce grill in the front, that's a little bit tacky. If you have a Rolls-Royce and you put a Volkswagen Beetle front end, that'd be awesome.
It kind of looks like an old Jag that they shoved a Coliseum. Like.
What, you think it looks like the Parthenon on the front of the car?
Yeah.
I should paint the grill blue and white then. I should paint it like Greek colors, and then we could say it's the Parthenon mobile. But it is not, I don't know, it's a cool car. I think out of Rolls-Royces, that's probably one of the nicer ones that was ever made, but
Yeah,
anyway.
it's fine.
Yeah. Somebody said, why are you so scared to drive it in winter? Too Tall says that. With the right tires, they can do it. They're heavy. They get good traction. I know it would. I just don't want to drive it in winter after spending all year basically fixing it up. I know, right? Alex doesn't want to drive an old car in winter. No, the convertible part doesn't bother me. Vinyl, I think that's their name. I couldn't see what it was. Somebody said, well, maybe it's a convertible and that's why. They have really good heaters, and I've driven convertibles all year round before. That's not a problem. You'd be surprised how well a canvas top can actually retain the heat.
You know what's funny, Too Tall? I knew somebody would not like the comparison between the Rolls and the Jag, and you were the first one. I knew it when I said it. I was pushing my luck.
Yeah. Anyway, if you're gonna have, when you're out purchasing a Rolls-Royce such as I have, you should ensure that it is at least a Corniche or a Mulliner Park Ward drophead coupe, which this one is. But you do feel a little bit stuffy having a car like that. I almost feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed when somebody's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, good." And they're like, "Working on any cars?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got a car I've been working on for a while." And they're like, "What are you working on?" That's an old British car. Like, I'm almost embarrassed to say because it sounds like something like the Peanut Man would have with a monocle. He'd be like, "Whoa, it's about a Rolls-Royce." Why is a Peanut snooty, by the way? Is it because he's a salt? I say that. Peanut's a salty old boy, isn't he? Because he's a salted peanut. But I do feel a little bit weird talking about that car because it doesn't really like, an old Woody wagon is cool, or the old Buick, and people are like, "Cool car," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And people are, but you get a Rolls Royce, and they're like, "Oh, this guy, look at this guy." So it does have a little bit of that going on.
This guy.
But I think when I tell them that it was eaten by raccoons, that gives me a little bit of leeway into not feeling as snooty. I'm like, "Oh, a Rolls Royce," and I'm like, "Yeah, but it was eaten by raccoons." They're like, "Oh, I get it. That's how you could get that car." I'm like, "Yeah, that's right. That's how I got a Rolls Royce convertible. I just bought the grossest looking one I could find and fixed it."
How's the store doing in Canada?
Store is going really well. For whoever was asking, did you catch their name? The store is back in business. The neighborhood kids are coming through. Everybody's wearing a mask that comes through the store. We got hand sanitizer out. We are persevering and doing our very best to try and keep our customers safe and happy and coming through the shop. So we were really, really pleased that everybody's been very good. So
What happened with the break-in? It's the same.
yeah,
Broken in.
we got broken in. They took the guitars. Insurance is paying us out for the guitars.
Oh, good. See,
So-
I got an update.
Yeah, so
Oh,
at
that's
least
lucky.
we'll get the money back on the guitars. They didn't because we had the deductible was crazy expensive. They're not covering the repairs to the steam tractor, or they gave us money, but then they're like yoink. That's what they do. They're like deductible time, yoink. No, I don't want that to happen again anytime soon. That really sucked.
Yeah. We amped up the security anyways.
Oh yeah, they would have it'd be a dilly of a pickle for somebody to get in and out of the shop the way that guy did last time.
Yeah.
Also, it helps if you're, bars and all that stuff, and extra locks and things.
And
so
cameras, and then the other buildings have cameras as well. So
yeah.
that all
Anyway,
helps.
it's all good.
The kids
Lucinda
in-
Mannery says, love the new Woody. It is a cool vehicle. Josh is on, and he sent me a picture of a PT Cruiser. He's like the new car. Actually, I don't think he said anything. He just sent me a picture of a purple PT Cruiser. And I knew he was like, huh. He's like, nice PT Cruiser, dude. I don't know why I made him sound like a surfer, but anyway. PT Cruisers borrowed some of the styling cues from that era of vehicle. So yeah, there's gonna be some similarities, but it's not the same. A PT Cruiser is just a Dodge Neon with a different body. It's not anything that fancy.
The kids are enjoying the summer that never ends, except for I make them still have chores and but I mean, it does kind of feel like the summer that never ends. Although here, very much it's starting to get cooler and feeling like the summer is ending. So
yeah. Let's see. There was I was trying to catch up on some of the questions there. Have you ever had World War II German badges? Yes, I sometimes find that stuff, but I don't generally put it out at the shop because we generally don't sell Second World War German artifacts. We do have customers that do buy it, but it's not something we display or put out at the shop.
Josh is Cree, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's Navajo. He's
Cree.
Nahiawak.
Cree comes from, I believe, I think they have a different Nahiawak, is that what you said? Yeah.
Plains Cree.
Plains, yeah. And I never say it right, so I'll have to, say it better next time. But yeah, I don't know where we're going with that, but yes, we answered that question.
Asked.
Cadillac is gone.
What's your dream car? I'm gonna go make the tea.
Dream car is, I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I don't feel like I have a dream car anymore. There's no car that I'd be like, yay, I'm gonna have that and keep it forever. I like every car that I have. I like everything that's really puts a smile. I like vehicles that are odd, unique, and make people smile. And I just really like having things that really make people happy. I'm the guy that if I'm filling up for gas, and like today this happened, I was out of town, I was in the Buick. I was filling up for gas, and I came out of the store, and there was like this fella there had parked his truck, kind of like gangster style, like blocking my vehicle. I'm like, what's going on? And it was like an old farmer guy. That's probably just how he parks in the city. He's like, I'm in the city, I'm gonna park right here, sideways across the entire parking lot. Sorry, if you're a farmer, I know you probably don't park like that, but he did. So I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, Will! And he had like the hat with the foam on it. It was a John Deere hat that was foam in the front and mesh on the sides, and it had been out in the field a few times. And he said, Will, that is a fun looking automobile. Because he was apparently Canadian, but sounded like he was from like the deep south in the US.
Matthew says
No, he sounded like Jed Clampett. Man, and he had like the straw hanging out of his mouth, and he had like the big suspenders with the overalls, and he wasn't even wearing a shirt. It was just like man chest hair poking. No, I'm making half of that up. Well, what do we got here? Anyway, so he's like, that's quite a. He said, I used to have a '56 Buick. Okay, I'll make him sound better. He's like, good day. I used to have a '56 Buick when I worked my thumb back years ago. But really, he was more like, well, doggy, I had me a Buick.
What if he's watching right now and he's like?
No, this gentleman, I presume, did not have the internet, but that's okay. But I love it. I love chatting with him. I love talking about the cars, and we sat there and chatted about it for a while. And he had a '56 Buick two-door hardtop at one time, which is actually a much cooler vehicle. He told me that he was asked to go move a big rain barrel or big like drum, an oil drum, off of the farm and move it somewhere else. And he said, well, golly, I was asked by my mom to put that barrel at her place, and I done put it in the back of that Buick. Darn thing, the trunk lid closed. I'm not making this up. This happened. And he said that he was able to put a giant oil drum in the back of the Buick and close the trunk lid. He said, I thought I would have had to tie it down, but nope. Yeah, anyway. And then we shared this type of conversation for several minutes. Yep, back and forth. And then he drove away into farmland. Like right through a field. Like there was like, it was like the cornfield, in in The Mist, the baseball movie. Oh
The
my
baseball
goodness.
movie
The
that
Kevin
you
Costner one was like that.
Dreams something.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
It was like Field of Dreams.
I
There's like
got
a
the dreams
cornfield
part.
like right next to it, and then he just disappeared with no tire tracks going into the farm field. We're like, whoa, was he a ghost? Nope, that's just how they do it in the country. Where did he go? I don't know. His truck just was enveloped by the corn. And off he went. So the moral of the story is I'm happy to talk to anybody, including mildly
gosh.
possessed farmers who pull up
That's
and
the moral
block
of the
traffic.
story?
The moral of the story is that
Wow.
yeah, no, he was not a grown children of the corn. He was the farmer of the corn. Yeah.
Oh
Was
my
he real? I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then he drove away. But he was parked like gangster style, blocking the entire gasoline, like the thoroughfare. If you couldn't get in or out of the gas station because he wanted to talk to me about my car. You know, when farmers just park their truck in the middle of the road and leave all the doors open. Does that happen where you are? It happens here sometimes. You're like, what's this guy doing? Oh, he's getting out to look at his field for 5 minutes and leave all his doors open so you can't pass. You're like, what is going on? Anyway, it was fun. Yes. By the way, my family, I did my family tree a while back, and what was their profession going back 200 years? Farmers. So if you're like, this city boy can't talk about farmers, well, I've got some farm blood in me. I'm not a farmer. I like the country.
Yeah.
It doesn't like
likes
me.
being outdoors.
I
which is
like the
nice.
country, but the country doesn't like me if there's animals because I'm like, hey, look, a cow. And then in 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, my eyes. And I get all puffy.
Horses are the worst for Alexander, but
Yeah.
he loves being outside, which is good for me because I love being outside. So
Yep, that's
Yeah,
true. I do
that's-
like being outside.
that's like our favorite thing is even today we went on a little hike with the kids and went and fed a whole bunch of chickadees. Usually it's the squirrels, but today was like tons of chickadees and Alexander even had one land on his hand.
Yeah.
Oh, you had I don't know what that bird is. Looks
Yeah,
like
see, if
a
I said
little-
I was out hanging out with chicks all afternoon, she'd be like, what? But she was there, so she knows I meant chickadees.
Wow,
Chickadee. They're tiny. They,
they're so cute.
yeah, if you hold your hand flat out with some bird seed in it or some sunflower seeds, they don't hover. I don't know. They don't sound like they're, a Disney cartoon, but they do. And they land. And they just kind of, I had one land on my hand and it was like picking out the very best ones. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
even nervous at all. It was just like sitting there on my hand and it was like, nope. And it's like rejecting them off the side of my hand. It grabs it and goes off. They come back and get another one. Or it was another one that looked just like the first one. Yeah.
Gary said your shirt looks a little bit farmy.
That's
Good
right. I
with
told
that.
you I had a little bit of country.
Is this a different shirt?
No,
Has
the
another
same
one.
one I was wearing earlier.
We have a lot of plaid in Alberta. I have-
I'm also a 90s kid. And I don't know if you grew up in the 90s, Matthew Fox, you probably remember. In the 1990s, I'm not singling you out, but we're
Matthew
similar
Fox.
in age.
I'm not-
Matthew knows. The man skateboarded. There was one point in Matthew, we've never met, but I'm gonna psychically read your mind like an old Johnny Carson episode. What's inside the envelope? Matthew had a pair of oversized jeans with he had Doc Martens and he had a buffalo plaid shirt. And I'm guessing that actually happened at some point. He can correct me if he's wrong. I will.
He's wrong or you're wrong.
No, he's wrong. He's gonna be like, no, and I'm gonna be like, well, you clearly need to look through your photo album then. Yeah. Oh, look, he said I did. See, I know. That's how well I know you guys. I'm gonna read your name and I'm gonna guess what you wore in the 90s. No, I'm not gonna do that. That was special for Matthew. I'm only gonna guess what one specific person
my
who I've
gosh.
never met wore in the 1990s. Anyway, that's the plaid makes me feel comfortable. And anyway, it's what do you wear?
He said I love my docs.
Yeah. Am I going to start a band? No, I had not thought about it. Truth be told, I've never actually played with other musicians like a band. I would be really nervous because they would probably be legit and they'd be like, who's this guy? If they wanted me just to get up and sing, I could probably do that. But if I had to play guitar and sing with them, I don't know if I'd have the coordination I don't know what it's like to play with another musician and feed off of them and, have a drummer and all that stuff. So I don't think I could probably figure out the singing part, but
Hi, Auntie.
Yeah.
She said, you shake your head a lot, Mel.
of course she shakes her head a
knows.
lot at me. Yeah. So no, maybe someday, I don't know. I wouldn't mind trying to play with some other people and at least trying to sing. I know
Oh, come on, you're legit.
I'm legit. Yeah.
Geek out hangout.
Yep. Matthew Fox sings too? I didn't know this. Does Matthew sing?
Yes.
Oh, wait. How could you have a mohawk and not sing? Wow. It's true. He had Doc Martens. He skateboarded. He wore a plaid shirt. Of course he sings. So yeah, we're gonna have to, Matthew. We're gonna have to hear you singing at some point too.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you don't have a mohawk and don't like punk music. What does that say? What if somebody's like, "Hey, what kind of music do you like?" And he's like, "Alternative classical flute music." You'd be like, that's weird. Like, Bob always comes in, and I don't know if Bob's on right now, but Bob wears a hat that says smooth jazz 24/7, which probably means his neighbors don't get much sleep in his condo if he's listening to smooth jazz 24/7. That's a lot of jazz, Bob. That's a lot of, like, I don't mind jazz, for the record.
He said he likes oldies, Matthew.
Yeah, there's certain jazz music that I like, but I don't think I could listen to it 24/7, especially smooth jazz. And for the record, smooth jazz is like Kenny G. I don't know why it's that song. It wasn't, yeah, totally different. Anyway, so 24/7.
We're not close to Alaska. I mean, I'm closer than people in the States.
Oh,
well, I guess.
are you close to Alaska? No, but we could head
Yeah,
north to Alaska, head north, the rush is on.
If you
way
do-
up north, north
Have
to
you-
Alaska, way up north,
Do you
north.
know the channel? Somewhere's in Alaska.
No, I do not know the channel somewhere in Alaska. I should probably find out though.
That was it? That was just silence.
Well, I don't know.
To me.
Last time I tried singing Johnny Horton just now, you were all like, do we know the channel? Because she doesn't like, Melissa, I don't think likes it when I sing that much because it's distracting.
Right in my ear. But he was in the middle of asking a question.
Oh, you don't like that Johnny Horton song? We hit the decks of running, boys, and spin the guns around. We've got to sink the Bismarck. Yes, the world depends on us. Anyway, I'm just gonna pest her all night.
I know.
If I want to pest my mom, I would sing a Johnny Horton song because my mom grew up listening to country and as a result does not listen to country at all. Since her childhood, she's like, I'm never gonna listen to country. And if I even put on country music or if I sing country music, my mom will be like, ugh, and get like the chills because
but for the
she
record,
has.
that doesn't sound like her voice.
Yeah, she sounds like a chipmunk. Hey, mom, this is you. I'm Alex's mom. Ah! Like a puppet. Ah! I should get a puppet of my mom so that when she's not here, I can be like, hi, honey, do you want some cookies? And I'll be like, yeah, mom, cookies are awesome. You know it. Somebody send me a puppet of my mom, and that way I'll never feel alone ever again. And if Melissa and I are ever having an argument, and then anyone from Melissa who's going to be like, you brought home another car? And then my mom's be like, it's all right, he's a good man. He brings home the bacon, you should be okay with it. I'm not okay with it at all.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, are we doing this live? That means people are watching me make a fool out of myself on live television.
I gave him like chamomile tea, you guys.
I didn't even have any tea yet. This is my first sip of it. And it is real tea.
What is it? What does it smell like?
It smells like somebody squeezed a bunch of flowers into my teacup.
It's chamomile and rose.
It's a bouquet. You know what? It smells like the type of thing that actually my mom probably would have given me when I was sick when I was a kid. She'd be like, drink this. It's chamomile.
I didn't put sugar in it. It's just tea.
It's floral. It's herbal tasting. It's kind of lukewarm now. But that's how I like my tea, kind of on the medium warm kind of side of things.
Sally said, smart move, Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Yep. So, Mom, if you're watching, don't worry. If somebody doesn't send me a mom puppet, we'll just find one somewhere.
Oh my goodness.
And I'll put like a big Linda name tag on it. My name is Linda. Hey, it's my
We have
mom,
those.
everybody.
We have
Hi,
those puppets at the store.
Oh, yeah, we sell puppets at the store, but none of them look like my mom, though. None of them. Oh, I mean, not that you see a person that looks like a real puppet with like their entire jaw on hinges. I'd be like, that guy looks like a puppet. And you'd be like, that's rude. Then you look over and the guy actually, his whole jaw is like, hello, my name is Bill. And you're like, oh yeah, he does have a puppet face. Look at him. Yeah. Yeah. You know what would be good in this tea? Not that I'm telling you because I didn't like the tea maybe, but some of the honey. This isn't a plug for the honey, but we sell this honey called Good Morning Honey, which is my most favorite honey in the world.
Do you want me to get you some?
Actually, if you're willing,
Yeah, I'm willing.
If you're willing-
And then we can show them it.
it is seriously my most favorite honey in the whole world.
What about
Ever.
me?
Oh,
What's your favorite honey?
I got myself in trouble because yes, my wife is my sweetheart, of course. And actually, Melissa means honeybee in Greek, And so by default, my honeybee is bringing me honey. Ah, did you know Melissa meant honeybee in Greek?
All the Melissas know.
Did you know that was my dad's nickname for my mom too?
Yeah, so Alexander's mom's nickname was Honeybee, and my name means honeybee.
This is the good stuff. This is creamed honey.
Did you show them the label?
Yeah. Ba, 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 ba. Hey, look, Richard, if you're watching, Richard, who owns this company, I just gave your company a plug.
But it's legit because we love it. I
Yeah.
mean, Alexander loves it. I don't mind it in tea when I'm sick.
They're not far from here. They're like by Spruce Grove. or
Alexander
something.
will like eat it. He'll take like just a spoonful and eat it.
Oh my God, it is so good. It's the equivalent. It's like honey fudge. Does that make sense? It's like fudge honey. That's what it's like. Oh, it's so
I'm
good.
not a fan of honey. Unless I'm sick, then I know it's good for me and I'll drink it.
No, it's so good. It's like having a spoonful of fudge without like unnatural sugars. It's natural.
He's like happy that there's some still left on the spoon right now.
I mean,
They like honey and peanut butter sandwiches. Do you guys do that? Honey, peanut butter, and banana sandwiches.
that's like an Elvis thing.
Is it?
Yeah, don't ask me why, but Elvis liked that stuff too. He did peanut butter, banana, honey, I think too, right?
Abigail doesn't like bananas.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Was Elvis Presley, I'm sure of it, had peanut butter, banana, honey sandwiches his mom made for him. My mom made that for me. If we would watch the Flintstones at lunchtime, like you come home from school, you have just enough time, watch one Flintstones episode, my mom would have peanut butter, banana, honey sandwiches, usually like a few potato chips and a chocolate milk. I'd be like, yeah, this is the best. So to this day, if I have that combination, I really feel like I'm Elvis and 5 years old again.
We have marshmallow fluff, right?
Yeah, we do. We don't use it on a whole lot of stuff though.
I've never bought it before, but Linda makes these, Alexander's mom makes these Easter eggs that are, you know, chocolate on the outside and then marshmallow on the inside. She makes it with that. It's so good. I'm trying to think of what it is. I just said.
Fried peanut butter and banana honey. That would make it like a peanut butter banana honey pie.
I think they were fried in butter. The
If you-
peanut
if you-
butter, or no, the banana.
Well,
fried
like you know those
or
camp
banana.
stove things that are cast iron that you put your you like the sandwich makers for campfire?
Yeah.
That would be so good. Peanut butter, banana, honey, and
Are you
that over a
hungry?
campfire. I might be a little bit hungry, I guess, since I'm thinking about food so much. Why are we talking about food? It's almost 9 o'clock. It is like 9 o'clock. It's after 9.
Yeah.
And we're talking about food. When you guys are ready to go to bed, just come and give us a kiss. Well, not you. That would be awkward. I'm talking to Abigail off screen. Hi out there.
Yeah. You guys are ready.
Wait, I don't talk like that to them.
I'm gonna wait till 9:30.
Oh, okay. Abigail is cradling the dog right now.
Or Steven likes Takis.
I love them.
Takis, those
You
are
do?
those spicy nacho things,
Peanut
right?
butter and dill pickle sandwich. Abigail likes that. Who was it that told you to do that? Wasn't it Grandpa? My dad liked
I
peanut
thought
butter.
it was disgusting.
Peanut butter and dill pickle sandwich.
No, somebody just said, Gary says he likes peanut butter and Vegemite. Vegemite is that, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
That was it.
That was
Now, that's from Australia, right?
Yeah, that's what we got from.
And wasn't there a Men at Work song that had a lyric like, give me my Vegemite sandwich or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. That stuff is gross if you don't do it right. Now, my understanding with Vegemite is that you toast the toast, you toast the bread, you put butter on it, and then like the thinnest layer of Vegemite. And if you do anything more than a really thin layer, I think people even in Australia are like, yeah, that's gross. Or they'd be like, that's
What else
gross.
did I used to put on it? Did I put avocado or something on top of that? Or
I don't know.
I can't remember, but it was good. It was with a whole bunch of butter, tiny smidgen of Vegemite. It was okay.
See, Gary said I'm correct. Look at me. I know Australian cuisine. I hope you guys have better food than that when we come visit someday. If we're like, hey, it's Chuck's Vegemite grill. Come on down, mate. I have a bunch of Vegemite. I'll be like, oh, this sucks. Glad we brought some Canadian food like maple syrup and honey. Because we're all about the sugar in Canada, apparently.
Well, but so different areas of Canada, of course, has different things. Like we're not all for our maple syrup in Alberta. It's more of a Toronto and Quebec.
I know, but Canada's known for maple
Yeah.
syrup.
But I mean, it's not a big thing here.
Yeah. You know, when your thing is like, hey, what do you guys like to do for food? Oh, we just like suck stuff out of a tree. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's what we do here.
Yeah, that's when we tried the Vegemite. Somebody sent us, I can't remember their names now.
They sent us, somebody sent our family a nice little gift basket with some stuff from
Yeah,
Australia.
a
And we did,
tasting.
when we get those packages, sometimes viewers send a little box to the shop and they do it for us to do an unboxing video and try out foods that you're familiar with or that you enjoy. We usually do those unboxing videos on Melissa's channel, but we haven't done much on your channel lately.
No, I haven't done much on my channel. And then I went to film today. Best ever moment when it said my phone was full.
Yeah.
So-
Melissa's been filming a lot, but
Yeah.
she hasn't been editing and putting stuff
It's
out.
frustrating. It's not a whole show. It's like a little blurb where I'm getting ready to film and then I forget for the rest of the day. So it's been bad.
Okay, we missed chatting. Okay, somebody said, are you going to talk about your cars? And I forgot that we started talking about the cars on an earlier live feed and then we didn't get back into it because we had to come back to it. The quest for a station wagon is almost complete. I have a station wagon now that I can drive in summer as a daily vehicle. I have a slightly bigger station wagon in the ambulance that will be the company vehicle. Now I'll probably need to get some kind of winter thing.
A
at some
winter
point.
thing. Alberta's known for their beef.
Alberta's
Even though
known
I,
for their beef, yeah.
except for I don't eat beef.
But the Rolls-Royce, we were waiting on the seat back to get finished, which she sent me a picture of. She's almost done. And then the interior will be pretty well finished. The top is on, but there's some trim pieces that need to be put on. The car is like 95% done. That Rolls is 95% done, but there just hasn't been enough content for me to put a video out because if I go there, there's a lot of stuff happening right now that's about to converge. They were waiting on brake parts. The brake parts, I believe, have come in, so now they're going to install them. She's working on the interior, so pretty soon all of these things are going to smush together onto the vehicle, and then I can do an update and hopefully bring the car home with license plates on it and be able to drive it for the last week of warm weather we
Hey,
have
that's
here.
mine.
Oh, I'm trying to take her tea. Boy, are you protective about your tea?
I don't want your cooties.
Did you see what happened there?
Somebody said, good morning, honey, charges $20 to mail an $8 jar of honey. Oh, I went, where is that going?
Oh,
That's the worst when it ends up
shipping
being,
is expensive
Yeah.
though. These are heavy. This honey is it's a heavy jar.
On my channel, I sent out these little tiny crocheted, like little octopus that people had, or somebody had sent me. And I thought it would be fun to do a draw and send them out. And to the first 10 people or 20 people, whatever I did, oh my goodness, some of the shipping, just this tiny thing that could squish down in a package, it was like $17 to ship these crazy things.
Yeah.
They were awesome, but man, the shipping.
Ray Perry asks, is the damaged bumper fixed on the car? The bumper is not repaired on the car yet because I'm waiting until it's done at this shop. They're working on it. They have it apart. There's brake pieces off and things like that. So I can't really take it over to the body shop to get it fixed until they're done with their portion of it. So as soon as the upholstery is in and the car passes its inspection and I get license plates for it, I can drive it over to the body shop and get the bumper repaired. So that has not happened yet. Let's see. I'm going to try and answer. Oh, Marmite, somebody says. Yeah, Marmite.
Oh, you know, I've seen Alexander and I, so we'll go sledding with the kids. And one time Alexander and I went on a toboggan together, hey?
Yeah.
Down a huge hill, and we were on the same toboggan, and Alexander put his feet down, so all of the snow was just going
Well, I didn't do it on purpose. I was trying to
right in my
stabilize.
face. So we hit a bump too, and we launched into the air and knocked the wind out of me. Of course it did. And then he went to check on me to make sure I was okay, but my whole face was covered in snow. Just my eyelashes were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
I was trying to save our lives.
Yeah, that was.
I was
Yeah.
on a toboggan with you both one time, and my face was covered in snow.
Yeah, Abigail says we also got her with that too.
Yeah.
You need a classic Volvo for winter. You know, Chronicle 83 says get a Volvo. Melissa drives a Volvo as her daily vehicle. Very good vehicle. And I actually drove a Volvo PV544 and a 123 GT all year round.
If you
and
have
yes, it was
winters like we do, where you have to drive on, you have to estimate how long you're going to slide to the light. There is no just normal driving. I would recommend a Volvo over every vehicle I've ever owned.
it was an excellent vehicle. Is
But
where I was
they're
going.
ridiculously expensive. Like for that kind of price, I think you need to have somebody that like chauffeurs you everywhere.
Well, you're talking about a newer Volvo, but
Yeah.
a classic Volvo isn't terribly expensive.
No,
And they're fairly easy to work on too. The challenge with the vintage Volvo is generally they do get rust, which is pretty normal.
does
So-
mine doesn't have rust.
Yours isn't a vintage Volvo. I guess
Oh,
it's
a
getting close
vintage
to it. I'm
Volvo,
talking
I
about the 1950s and 60s Volvos that we've had.
Oh yeah.
They do have a tendency to rust, sadly.
I like mine.
The Nash sold quite some time ago. That's the vehicle that I drove when I was with Adam and we did that video. The Nash was a great little vehicle, actually. It was really good.
Hello from Liverpool.
Oh, you guys are cheaper than honey. Thanks for all your enjoyable chats. Thank you, MP. That's awesome.
Thank you very
And
much.
we saw another one there. Louise says, hello from Liverpool, currently European and Premier champions. Well, hello. And Liverpool, of course, home of the Beatles. and their fancy hairdos. Actually, the Beatles didn't have the Beatle hairdo when they first started. Did you know that they were rockabilly? They did covers of like Chuck Berry and 50 songs, and they had greaser kind of hair. It was all slicked back. You look at early pictures of the Beatles when they were in the cavern, and those guys look like a rockabilly band. John Lennon needed glasses, but he didn't like the way he looked in glasses, so he would take his glasses off when he performed, but he couldn't see music or anything, so he was like squinting all the time because his eyes were so bad. But later, of course, he got his, he wore those antique glasses that became iconic, but he needed glasses the whole time. He just barely ever wore them. But yeah, hello Liverpool. And thank you for, you know, endless AM radio content here. Let's see. Yeah, the Beatles' first album was a Buddy Holly cover. Yeah, they did a lot of cover songs. Their early stuff was pretty much what they did. Like, I do a lot of cover songs now. I feel like writing my own stuff now.
Denise says that marmalade is gross. I like marmalade. A lot of people really don't like it. I like it.
Somebody said, if you're looking for a station wagon, suggest a 57 Mercury big car. We had a 57 Ford station wagon for a while, but it was a 3 on the tree. It was not super fun to drive. I don't mind a standard if it's on the floor. When it's up on the tree, it's just annoying. If you've ever done, now I'm sounding old, but when they say 3 on the tree, that means that there's 3 gears, and the tree being your steering column that you shift on. You have to shift where your gear selector is up on the steering column. Not a whole lot of fun.
Auntie Ruth says she likes marmalade too. And my middle name is Ruth. Maybe that's why we like marmalade.
Yeah. Let's see. Woody Wagon project, getting in and safety hopefully soon. I'm hoping to drive it right away. Get a hearse, the ultimate station wagon. Did you guys see the video where the guy showed up with, they had a white hearse that they pulled up in? That was pretty cool. Somebody said, hey Alex, use a tripod. As you can see, we're using a tripod right now.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't use a tripod when I'm doing unboxing videos or when I'm at the store is because I want to actually experience the unboxing live. If I have a tripod and I have to open things and bring it to the camera, I can't be as flexible as I can be if I'm moving the camera around at the same time.
Then you see it at the same time. It's a little bit more of a ride, but you get to see it at the same time as Alexander's actually experiencing it, as if you're actually there with us.
I have tried, well, I do have a GoPro, and I do have a tripod, but when I'm at the shop, I've set the tripod up before, and then you put a box there, and you're going through, and you're like, whoa, look at this detail, and then you got to take it off the tripod and look at the thing anyway. If I hand hold the camera, then I can show you the details that I'm talking about. I can move around. What I need is not a tripod. What I eventually need is a camera person to do the camera work for me, so I can actually appear on camera and talk about things.
Dave said
like,
to tape the phone to your
look
head.
At this. I can tape the phone to my head.
Yeah.
No, you know, if you're gonna do something like this, like you see other YouTube channels, sometimes they have somebody who's filming for them. At some point, that would be probably what we need but then I know what I want to show. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I know that I'm like, look at this spoon, look at this marking, and you can show and move around the camera. It's really hard to do that on a tripod. But we'll figure something out. We'll try and make it. We'll try and make it all work out. Let's see.
The cameras are selling, so we don't still have 1,000 cameras.
Oh yes, camera. Let's see. We bought 1,000 cameras. I wholesaled 500 of them out to another dealer. That basically it got me a chunk of my cash back on that whole deal, and they ended up with a lot of product. So all the stuff that was newer or sort of point and shoot cameras, there was some good stuff in there too, but the newer stuff went. So it said, Louise says, football, Alex and Melissa, it's a big deal. I believe you. Oh, that's where they're saying they're champions. And you're yes.
Oh, where? Here?
No, but they're saying their football is what we call soccer.
Oh,
right?
I see.
What we in the new world call soccer. Wow. You just don't go kicking the football.
Don't worry, I wowed him for you.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought. Oh, the cameras. Yes, sold a whole bunch. We're down to maybe 400 cameras or so, or 350. Anyway, it was just enough to do a nice display, and it looks good, and they are selling every single day. We sell like a couple $100 worth of cameras, and eventually I will get my money back, and eventually there'll be profit. So just a long way to go. But we kept back some of the better ones. Oh, Too Tall, we'll see you later on. He's off doing laundry. Hopefully, remember to separate your whites from your darks. Don't forget to there you go. I don't know. That's
no
all the
red
laundry
sock
tips I have.
in the white load.
I don't know.
You know what? It's funny. Our whites are like the worst of all for our laundry because I will just shove it all in the wash. And then we have like, gray shirts.
Somebody says, how do you find places to buy inventory? And they're just starting a vintage booth. Jan, when I first started off buying inventory, I advertised online that I was looking for collections. I went and I bought stuff off of like Facebook Marketplace or people's houses. And then you ask, do you know anybody else with stuff? Do you know anybody else? And then eventually you start handing out business cards and flyers. Once we were opened and established, now it's almost like we have to hold back on what we buy because we get so many calls and so many emails every single day with people selling things that we have to be very selective with the sort of things we bring in. For instance, I don't carry a lot of furniture at the store because I don't have the room for it. We specialize in what would be called smalls.
And furniture tends to sit a lot longer, so you have to have the space to have it.
Yeah, it's furniture. It sits all over the place.
Yeah, but I mean, it actually takes up real estate in your building.
It doesn't sell it. Well, that's not necessarily true because when we first opened, we had a couple really nice old hutches. They sold right away. Certain furniture does sell, but it does take up a lot of room. And if there's one thing I learned about retail when I worked as a manager at Apple, it's that you want to make the best use of your square footage as you can. So they have small stores, really like the price points are a little bit higher, but they make very good use of their square footage. And we have to do the same thing.
Once you're a little bit more known though, it's almost like a community. Like people will know kind of the things that you sell, and hopefully when they see things, they'll let you know. But like for us, we just have people showing up or calling Alexander saying, you know what, I think you might be interested in this, and then Alexander will go on a pick. Or they just show up at the store with the stuff that they want to sell sometimes. But
people just walk in, oh, I'm working on a video, which I'll put out probably in a day or two, and I'm showing you guys some of the stuff that just comes in the store in a day. Honestly, sometimes the stuff that just walks in the door on a regular shift is better than the stuff I find when I go out. Just crazy cool stuff can walk in the door. Have you ever had used Rolex Submariner come in? Yeah, Dave, I have.
I think more than once. Right?
You know what? So I had one of our viewers, I don't know if they're watching now, and years ago, like back in the 80s or 90s or something, somebody forgot their watch behind. And they left it there in the customer holds area for like, I don't know, 20 years. They never came back for it. So they thought on a whim they'd bring it in for me to have a look at. Oh, thank you, Steve, and thank you, Elder Scotsman. We appreciate that, and we are trying to take your crazy mind off the craziness of the world right now.
Helps keep our mind off of the craziness of the world right now.
So back to my story. Folks own a tanning salon. Somebody got a tan and they left their watch behind. They never came back for it. Years later, they walk in my store and ask me to check it over. What is the watch they bring in? A Rolex Daytona. Odds of it being real, 1 in 1,000 probably that the thing's real. But old Alex here is prepared. Old Alex has Rolex watch openers because you need a very special tool. I don't know why I go from yeehaw to like, I'm going to be serious now. But anyway, that's what happened. I have the tools because if you ever want to buy a high-end watch like a Rolex or an Omega, you have to make sure to check the movement because that's where you can really tell if it's real or not. You can't really tell from looking at it. They can make the serial numbers, they can etch them, make it look real on the outside, but they never spend the money on the movement. So usually you open up the back, you can check the movement out. Anyway, so they wanted to sell it to me, and I said, you know, I'd kind of be interested, but I don't really want to make an offer until we have, you know, an idea of what we're looking at here. So of course I open up the back, and the thing is real, like a $15,000 watch. Who gets a tan? That was the most expensive tan in the whole world that they left behind a $15,000 watch and never went back for it. Anyway, needless to say, they decided they didn't want to sell the watch to me after that, and they left and never came back. Mom! And old Alex never had a chance to even make an offer on it. So off they went. Sometimes that happens. People bring through things and you want to buy it, and if you're honest and tell them what it is, they have a decision to make of whether they want to sell it or not. But
Alex, it's not soccer. They actually meant football, I'm thinking.
Wait, they're in Liverpool, and if they're in Liverpool and talking about football, then
well, it says Alex, it's not soccer.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, it could be.
I'm not making this up.
Okay, well there you go. Let's see. I'm just reading some of your comments here.
Going to bed? No.
Where do I find the vintage watch bags? That's by happenstance. Are you gonna come around so Dad gets a hug too? Kids are going to bed. When I find a bag of watches or something, usually that's when I buy an estate collection of a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, honey, look, I got my baby with me. Look, everybody, it's an Abigail. Whee! Abigail, are you gonna say goodnight to the folks at home?
Night.
Yeah. There are 1.5 say to the people out there in internet land.
No, not really.
Not really? Am I embarrassing you? Should I sit here and try and fog the spoon up and get it to stick to my nose?
I can do that.
You really
You just had honey all over that.
Well, that makes it easier to stick when it's full of honey.
I love you.
Okay, good night, honey. Good night, guys.
I'm gonna balance this spoon.
Chewy's laying on the back of our couch, just staring at us from across the room. No, not right now.
Oh.
Bad cheek.
Jason has shown us that he's able to do it. Yeah, so there are, let's see. When you come across the estates, sometimes people have a whole bunch of stuff and they say, listen, just take everything as it is. Sometimes there's boxes that come in and they just want it gone. Many times we have people that walk in the store, or if I go to their house and they say, listen, just take everything all on money. And then I find these bags of watches or whatever, and boy, is it ever fun. You know, more often than not, those sort of deals don't come around very often. Let's see.
Thank you very much,
Raymond Doolin says, what are your favorite restaurants to go and eat? Well, we can't go to any restaurants really
we
right
can,
now.
but
We're
we
choosing
choose
not
not
to.
to.
Yeah, but we've been ordering in. There's we have an app in
But
Canada
if we
called...
could go, I think they have Skip the Dishes as well. It's like Uber
No,
Eats
Skip the
or-
Dishes is Canadian. They have
it?
Uber Eats is in
Yeah.
America, and there's some other ones too. Anyway, there's lots of places. You can get your food is what I'm saying. If you want restaurant food, you can find a way.
So if we were going to go to a restaurant, where would we go?
Ethiopian probably.
Or Indian?
Or Indian. Those would be the top two probably. We have like a pizza place near our house that we go to every so often, which is called Boston Pizza in Canada. Which it's not from Boston. It's a Canadian channel, or it's a Canadian restaurant. It's a
yeah.
Canadian chain, just like New York Fries. Somebody
But
from
it's not like it's not. It's just like a regular old family restaurant.
yeah, but Indian food is awesome if you've never tried it. Butter chicken is amazing. Naan bread is this beautiful
In Edmonton,
bread.
my favorite place for Indian food is New Asian Village, and the one on the west side. And then our favorite Ethiopian restaurant is Lagano Skies.
Lagano Skies,
Yeah.
off
And
White Avenue.
They're fantastic people that own both restaurants as well. So we're really lucky to know them.
If you're ever in the Edmonton area and you want to sample some really great, authentic Ethiopian food, Lagano Skies is the place to go.
Yeah.
Family owned, family run business, very friendly folks, and their food is mwah, to die for. It's really good.
They're farther from us, so with Skip the Dishes, you can only order a certain amount away from you to kind of, you know, make sure the quality of food is there and not cold by the time you get it. So we've ordered it to the store just so that we can get it.
Yep, we had a picnic there too.
Yep, we had a
Yeah.
picnic
Oh,
at
there
the
was
store.
Somebody said, what is the reason for jewels in the back of the watch?
Easy.
Do they actually help make it run, or is it just for dollar value in stones? Okay, that's a great question. Bandana Grandma, I will answer that for you. Jewels, basically, they're tiny little rubies is what they are. And they are put in a watch for the gears to pivot on. So there's generally a ruby on the top and a ruby on the bottom, and then you have your pinion or your staff in the middle. When that rotates and spins, the friction is reduced by having a gemstone such as a ruby in there. So the better the theory is the more jewels in a watch, the more friction reducing bearings, high quality bearings it has, such as rubies, and therefore a more expensive watch. Now, in some cases, people knew that, they caught on. So early Rolexes were 15 jewels. Later Rolexes, I think a Submariner is probably 27 or 23, I can't remember offhand right now. But people caught on and they're like, oh, wow, they would look to see how many jewels it says on the watch. And they go, oh, yeah, that's a 25 jewel watch. So then some people started putting jewels in their watches that did nothing just to make it sound like it was an expensive watch. Like, wow, a 52 jewel watch, that must be amazing. But really, none of them did anything. Most early high-end watches are between 15 and 22 or 27 jewels or so, in that kind of range. I hope that helps. It's just a bearing surface.
I have two. I can't remember who reminded me now, but another one of our favorite restaurants that we like to go to is the Duchess.
Oh, Duchess Bake Shop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, every once in a while.
That is good. I mean, I like their food as well as their desserts. And
They don't do the soups and salads and stuff right now. Not my favorite thing to go for.
well, I haven't ordered there since March, so
Well, I've stopped in there to do
that was
pickup
my
service.
favorite. I really like their soup salad and
Yeah. Somebody
whatever.
says, what about a body camera? I do have a GoPro.
I knew we'd eventually see it.
Yes,
Jeez.
I do see that camera. I do have a GoPro. I do have a body camera, but you have to understand, I'm going in people's houses too, right? And so if you're there with a small camera, which is what I normally use, it doesn't freak them out as much as you come in with like headgear on and lights and lamps and stuff.
Or the harness.
Yeah, so you don't want people to be kind of like, if you're like, do you mind if I take pictures and film? A lot of times they're like, okay. But if you're like, do you mind if I take pictures and film and for our YouTube channel? And they're like, okay. And then you gear up, they'll be like, no, dude, that's way too much. So no, a lot of times I don't wear a lot of that stuff on my pics and videos and that because it's a little intrusive for the type of work I do. But I am looking at improving my camera. I'm probably gonna be upgrading my camera pretty soon here. So
I'll do an update on the garden. It's not impressive. The tomatoes have gone crazy. I have beans growing up the fence. The peas are done already, and the onions are still crazy. You guys just wait.
PJ asks, Alex, how did you learn so much about antiques? Well, I'm still learning about antiques. There's a lot of things that come into the store even now where I've not seen it before, or it's new to me, and I have to ask the person who's selling to help educate me. There's a lot to know, and I think it's good to know a lot of details about certain things, but to be a good generalist when it comes to others. But to answer your question, how did I learn? When I was a kid, I used to buy and sell antiques to help make money for our family. And to know what I was doing, in those days, I would go to the library and I would sign out price guides, Covell's price guide or Covell's price guide or whatever, however you want to say it. I would go and I'd take out as a kid, like a 9-10-year-old kid. That was my reading. I'd bring back price guides and I'd look through and I'd try and get an idea of what had value and why it had value. And I basically just went through these books and went through history books and I tried to learn what things were. I'd get books on Art Deco. I'd get books on art. And so you pay attention to certain details so you can tell how do you tell if it's a real painting or a print. How, obviously if it's pixelated or what have you, anyway. So I just really was passionate about it. And I'm still definitely humble enough to know that I don't know everything there is to know about antiques, nor do I feel like I know a lot about antiques, but I do have a good base knowledge, and certainly having the antique stores put me out there to get to be around a lot of this stuff, where you have things come in and you learn every single day. That's the great thing about this job. It's like a learning experience every single day.
So Jay Fixier, this whole time I thought it said Fixler. They said they're surprised at how, amazed by Alex's confidence talking to the camera. If it was them, they'd be whispering and shy. So when you first decide to film and you're talking to a camera or you're doing a live, that first, I would say 10 times is not only nerve-wracking because it's not natural to sit and talk to a camera, but the more you do it, the more it's like you guys are actually here with us. So even when we're filming or doing a live, it's completely different now than when we first started. I used to feel like almost anxious when we would turn the camera on and be like, oh gosh, but now it's completely like you're already there. So the more you do it, the easier it gets.
We are here emotionally with you. We're here to read your comments and answer, and we feel as though we're in the exact same room. And we try and basically, when we film and do our videos, or when I'm filming doing a video, or whether we're here on a live chat or when you're in the store, we're the same people. There's no facades, there's no pretending for the camera, so it makes it very natural to do these videos and natural to talk to you because we don't have to pretend. There's no scripts, there's no editors, there's no producers telling me what to say. That's the one benefit of doing YouTube, is that you get to decide what you're doing.
Yeah.
We're an unscripted, a true reality show. And that's what people really enjoy, I think, about what we do, is they watch our show, they watch the YouTube videos, and then they either call us at the shop and we mail things out, or they come in the store and they're like, I saw that, you just bought that yesterday at that guy's house. And I'm like, yeah, this stuff really happens. So the only frustrating thing can be for people is that we do sell things fairly quickly. So sometimes if you don't call us at the shop, it's very difficult for me to go through, especially when people leave a note like here. If you leave a note on YouTube and you say, hey, I want to buy something, odds are I might not see it because it gets lost in the comments. But if you email me or call me at the store, those are the best ways to get in touch with us, and then we mail stuff out. But we try and do our very best. Have you ever thought about jumping and selling COVID masks? We actually, my sister-in-law made a whole bunch of really good ones. Where is mine anyway?
I have it.
She made me a Hawaiian mask.
I have it in the car.
Oh, is it?
No, yours is here.
Oh, okay. Do you want to bring mine over? My sister-in-law, Chantel, has a company that she sews stuff. She makes like kids clothes and things. And I asked her if she could make some masks. So she made me, this is my COVID mask. It's a 1950s kind of retro looking one. Anyway.
But it's nice because it's actually big enough, because a lot of them are really small, and then you talk it all and your chin pops out.
Oh, I just like that it's retro.
Yeah.
It makes me feel tropical everywhere I go.
Oh.
Anyway, so we do actually sell her masks at our shop too. If a person comes in there, they're not all like this drop. They're all different types of fabrics and materials. But she does a good job though.
Yeah.
Um,
It's finished perfect. Like, it's really, yeah.
Oh, incidentally, there is, I'm going to plug this because some of you guys watching asked, like, where can we buy your stuff? We have a whole bunch of stuff going through auction at Kastner Auctions this weekend. On occasion, actually pretty much every weekend, I take stuff down to Kastner and we put stuff through kauctions.ca. They do mail stuff out too. But the reason why I do that is if I look at my store, you guys know I go buy a lot of stuff. My general rule of thumb is that out of the things that I buy, 80% of it I don't want. 20% of it I do, maybe even less, 5 or 10% of it stuff I want for the store. So what do I do with that 80 to 90% of stuff? It either gets wholesaled out to other antique dealers, or I take it to an auction. And when I take it to an auction, I generally use Kastner because we have a relationship, and off it goes. So this weekend we put a whole bunch of stuff through there, and it's an antique sale. And I noticed on their advertising they said, like, incorporate your curiosity. I'm like, oh, that's pretty close. They're, trying hard to get it. But anyway, sometimes we do put stuff through auction too. But I guess when you have a business, or if you're out there buying, and there was a person that was on, and I'm so sorry I didn't recall what your name was or your channel ID was, but you were saying that you were starting up an antique booth. The important thing to remember in this business is don't sit on things. Don't get attached to stuff. Yeah. It's just stuff. You need money to be flowing through your business at all times to keep things going. You want to make sure that you have money in the bank so that you can do creative things, so that you can go out and buy collections when they come in. Keep back the good and interesting things, but really don't be afraid to blow out stuff if it's not selling. If you look at most retail stores, how they operate, clothing stores, for example. I ran clothing stores for a long time. I was a district manager, which means that I was the manager of managers. So we had 18 to 22 stores at one time that I looked after. And you're always, always, always focused on selling down your product. It's very seasonal. Antiques should be no different. You should be worried about, is my product selling? Has it been sitting too long? How valuable is that shelf space? Why isn't it selling? Should I be moving it to a different spot? Is my price not good enough? I swear, I move around my store so many times that I've had items that I just moved from the back of the store to the front. And somebody says, wow, you've got some new stock. I'm like, I've had that for like 6 months, but they never saw it before. So sometimes even just redecorating is good. But yeah, don't sit on things. The worst is when you go into an antique store and you get into a shop and it's been the same exact teacup in the same exact spot on the same exact shelf, and it's covered in dust and the price is the same, and they're waiting for that miracle customer to come along. And you have to ask yourself, how much was that shelf space worth? Maybe if you sold that teacup for $5 versus 10, you could have bought something else that was worth 20 and then bought something worth 30 and then kept going.
And in the meantime, when it's sitting there, it's increasing the amount you need to get out of it, because it's money on the shelf.
A friend of mine, Ivan, who watches the channel sometimes, he has a kind of a scrapyard that he sells old cars from. He said that his motto is sometimes you have to lose money to make money. And I know what he means by that. And a lot of people don't kind of get, like, how could you lose money to make money? But it's that if you've paid $10 for something, for example, and you've put it out for 20 and it's not selling, and somebody offers you 7 and it's been there for like a year, and you're like, well, I'm gonna lose $3. Well, sure, you're gonna lose a few bucks, but you take that 7 and you buy something else and sell that thing for 50 or 60 bucks, well, then you've made money. You have to have cash flow going, and sometimes you have to be willing to take a loss on things. But generally, you don't have to worry about doing that if you're buying the right kind of stuff, and you'll cater your stock to your customer. You'll get better at what sells in your area. We are the only shop kind of in our area that buys and sells the sorts of things that we buy, which makes us unique. I'm looking for oddball, unique items that people don't see on a daily basis. Whereas there's other stores in town that specialize in old clothing or in teacups or dishes or whatever. You know, they've got their thing, we do ours. You'll know what your customer base is and just be flexible. But yeah, anyway, that's why we sell stuff at auction. That's why I wholesale stuff out. I walk around the shop on a weekly basis. I make up a list of things that I think I'd rather just get rid of.
I guarantee it's daily. Guarantee.
I do walk the store. I walk the store every day and I look at the shelves and I try and analyze, not like I'm with the computer, like, I'm not like the 1980s hacker guy who's in the back of a van. What do we got? I don't know. I got to hack into the mainframe. And then he's got like a 1980s computer. And he's like, looks like dishes aren't selling, Alex. I'll be like, oh no, tell the Soviets dishes aren't selling. And then off they go. It's not that advanced. I don't have a hacker. Why does my mind always go to 1980s movies? Anyway,
sure.
It does. I just walk. I get a sense of what my customers like. I move things around and then I clean shelves off like crazy and take stuff into auction. So we have a lot of things that come and go, but I got to keep it fresh. So we'll probably answer a couple more questions and call it a night because the kids have gone off to bed and it's getting late here. If you lose the mask, you can wear the chicken head again.
Did you? Oh, I forgot you wore the chicken head.
Yeah, I pretended like I was driving to work with the chicken head on
I
one
took that video.
time.
That's how I remember.
Yeah, I was like, have a good day at work. Sometimes I like to throw in just ridiculous things in our videos that people just, they're like, what was that all about?
And then, that's not the easiest thing to see through. So, Alexander just rolled out of the shot. That's why I didn't pan the camera at all because he was still not even on the road. He was like on the side of the road. So, yeah, I forgot about you shoving that thing on your head. My brothers have had that on their head. Now that wouldn't be happening. But
No.
the amount of bad breath that would all be in there between me and everybody.
Yeah.
Okay,
Murdoch McNeil is headed to bed because it's almost 1 a.m. on the East Coast.
Ooh,
Thank you for
Nova
sticking with us for so
Scotia.
long. We love Nova Scotia. We
That's
said
where
it
we
before.
would be
Why don't
right
we
now.
live there?
because our family's here.
Why don't we just move them all out there?
You want to move our whole family out there?
Sure. We like Nova Scotia's pretty awesome, guys. If you've not been to the east coast of Canada,
It's
you're
like
missing out.
it's like a secret though, because they play it up like it's not a very interesting place to go.
Well, who's that? They play it up like it's awesome. Look
Well,
at
there. But I mean, like when we were looking at places to go in Canada, I had no clue how amazing it was because I'm landlocked in Alberta. But now I know the secret.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's amazing. Yeah, we love it there.
Yeah, we have lots of customers in Nova Scotia too.
But and the people are fantastic.
Yeah, we actually have friends out there now that are also antique dealers who we deal with too.
If Canada was warm, I would love it. Parts of Canada are really warm. Parts of Canada.
Well, I wouldn't say really warm.
Yeah, like
warmer.
Well, compared to Alberta.
Yeah, we're kind of we have moments of cold in winter, of really, really cold. Most of the time our winter is quite palatable.
Yeah.
You can just walk around and it's quite pleasant actually. It's brisk. The sun is always out in winter time, so it's generally pretty nice. So we'll answer a couple other questions. Taco Bender says,
Are
how
you
much for
selling?
the Harley? Yes, the Harley is for sale. 23,000 Canadian is the price on the Harley-Davidson, which is not a bad deal considering it's had almost, I think, $15,000 in restoration done to it.
Yeah, BC is pretty warm.
In Canadian.
What's the worst item that you bought that you thought was going to be a hit and then ended up being a...
Hard to say.
There's been some times where we thought we had something really amazing and then it wasn't.
Yeah, I
Or
found
we didn't spend a lot of money on it.
No, there's been times when I have thought I had something cool and it wasn't. But no,
Yeah.
I would say when I first opened, I was buying just about anything because I didn't know what my customer base would be like. So old tools and farm stuff, I don't really sell that stuff that easy. And I really don't like it because it makes my car dirty. It makes the store dirty. Old like pickaxes and things like that. So anytime I go to somebody's place, like when Josh and I went through that barn that they were throwing all the stuff out, I'm like, yeah, okay, it's a turn of the century pickaxe. That's kind of cool. And the guy's like, well, I'll just throw it in for free with the rest of the deal. Sure, I'll pick it up because I know I'll probably get $20 or something out of it at auction. But generally, I try and avoid what they call primitives, which would be like farm type, like harnesses and saddles and things like that. Those do not sell well in my store. Things that sell well in my store are, like toys and mechanical items and coin-operated stuff. My store does well for the really unusual. If I have something that someone's never seen before, that'll sell. Like Coke machines, high-end stuff, signs, advertising. That stuff all does really well for me.
Of course, because otherwise they could go anywhere and go get it. But if you can only get it at our store, or very rare.
Somebody said, why don't you wear safety shoes when you go in places like the barn? Well, first off, I didn't know. He said we were going out to look at a house, so I didn't think I was going out to a full overgrown farm. I thought, well, this is, confident clothing for summertime. But yeah, I'll probably end up stashing some shoes in the backseat of my car or something. The problem is I never know what car I'm going to be
You should have
driving.
like work boots or something in all cars.
Yeah, I know.
And gloves.
But you know, like this mask, I want to feel tropical at all times. But anyway, we're coming to the end of
Oh,
summer.
right. Somebody asked me, I forgot completely about it, that they said, do I like to sing like Alexander? I like to sing like a cat that's been tortured likes to sing.
I wouldn't know because I've never heard her sing.
Yeah. Well, now you know what it sounds like.
No, I'm sure Melissa's a good singer. She's shy, she's bashful, and she has not ever sung for me.
Well, there's things I'm not really that shy. I just don't sing in front of people. Unless you're my preschoolers.
I think that she's worried that I'd be judgy.
Oh. Oh, I'm not going to say that on here.
But I wouldn't be. I would be honored to have you sing with me.
Aw.
To do a duet. I would.
Okay.
Oh, anyway.
It's okay.
That's the one piece missing out of my life is I would love to sing with my wife someday.
I've sang Happy Birthday with you before.
It doesn't count.
That counts.
Doesn't count.
Sure does.
No, I want to sing a song with you.
No, and we like completely different music as well.
Okay. She's stubborn though, so I don't
I'm
think
not
it's gonna
just
happen.
stubborn. I know it would be. I know how this would go. I would finally do it. It would be mortifying, and then I would.
There's
regret
a
it
style of
instantly.
music, him and her style music, where you do this back and forth where the guy sings a line and then the girl sings a line. Johnny Cash did that with June Carter, or June Carter Cash. They would do a song. You know, they do their lines and then they'd share back and forth. I would like to do that type of song at some point, but I might have to wait until Abigail gets a little bit older. Maybe I can convince Abigail to sing with me.
How Raymond sent another $2. Thank you. How's the new addition to the shop coming along?
Oh, Raymond, the addition to the shop. Okay, I'll give you guys an update on that. Thank you
It
for asking.
counts.
I'll answer this question and then we'll probably try and wrap it up. The store addition has been quite the event, you know, from thinking it was going to happen to hearing it was canceled to fighting back and then getting it on again. It's been like a hard relationship on and off again, and it's been emotionally exhausting, but also very taxing on resources too, because there's a lot of permit fees and things you have to pay. Anyway, where we're at right now is that we have been approved for development. We have paid for our building permit, but it's not issued yet because they want us to engineer the lot, which means you have to make sure a guy comes out and make sure you're not going to have a cave-in or something. Like I'm not built on an old mine shaft or something. After they engineer the ground and they assess it and say that yes, you can put something there, we should be able to get the foundation poured. But before that happens, we have to get the sewer and water and gas line run over from our existing building to where it's going to go in the new building. I have all of this arranged to happen in the next couple weeks. So there will be another video at some point coming. But for this year, we'll probably just get it as far as, my goal is to get the foundation in. And I'm making strides towards making that happen. Once the foundation's in, then come springtime, we'll be able to start the actual construction of the building. So that's where we're at right now. I'm basically just waiting for the guys to come and peel back the dirt where the building's gonna go. Then they engineer it, and then the guy comes and puts the water and sewer and gas line over there. They got to jackhammer out our basement of our actual store.
Yeah.
But they fix it and everything though.
So Bill said, I had Amazon send you a couple of my books, one of which I mentioned you in. Now they're telling me they sent them separately. So if the wrong one comes first, you're going to be wondering why I sent it. So.
Oh, was that who was it that sent that?
Wait, now it went. What did I say? Bill Underwood.
Bill, yes, Bill, we got your book.
They sent two. So.
Well, we had one come in, and it looks very nicely done. So it's nice when we have a publisher come in and drop us off books. But you had mailed them in, and that was amazing. Jason is our test subject because it's a kid's book. So I gave the one you gave to Jason. Yeah, the one I brought home for Jason.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, so Jason is midway through reading the book right now. So we'll let you know how it all turned out. But it was beautifully put together, I have to say. And it's a difficult thing putting together a book of any kind, or putting yourself out there. So good on you. It was a beautiful thing and a very nice gesture for you to send it to us at the shop too. Thank you.
I wonder if he started reading it. I found it, and he was. I found it on the chair, and he was like, "I was looking everywhere for that." So.
Yeah.
Well, now I want to read it.
Okay. One last question. We'll answer Nicholas's question about the ambulance. So he said, for us new subscribers, what's the deal with the ambulance? Pretty well. Okay. If you know our YouTube series, which I'm assuming that some of you do, we have a '73 Pontiac Granville ambulance that I use to do deliveries and go pick stuff up in. Why do I have an ambulance? When we first opened up the shop, we sold a lot more motorcycles than what we do now. We had about 15 or 16 motorcycles at the old store. And I wanted something that would be easy to load, that would get attention for the store, and would have basically a canopy on it so that we would be able to keep it out of the rain and be able to lock it up if I'm out of town or doing something like that. So I started looking for trucks. Trucks are all pretty high up off the ground. So unless you're finding a truck that's been lowered, you're gonna run into some issue. And then not only do you have the height of the back, the tailgate to worry about, you then would have to buy a canopy and put it on the back, and you know, it's not that great. You can't put too many people in it, usually just 3 people in the front unless you get a crew cab. So I started thinking, well, what would be a good attention getter? And then I thought, you know, an old ambulance would be cool. So I was out in a scrapyard in Manitoba. This is our first YouTube video that kind of took off years ago. If you go back through our chronicles and you see a picture of an old Mercedes ambulance on a trailer, that was my first video that really took off for us. And that is the reason why we got an ambulance. I went out there to buy a Mercedes. I went out there to, the reason I did that trip is that the first go around, and if you've not watched that video, this is what went down. And this all ties together, so you'll see where I'm going with this. I had some stuff that I purchased in Manitoba, and it was going to be expensive to ship, a gas pump and some other things. And I thought, well, instead of paying somebody to ship all this stuff, why don't I go down and get it myself? But I didn't want to drive there and drive back. So I had some travel points saved up. What I did is I flew to Winnipeg, which is quite far away from here. I think probably, what, maybe 1,000 miles or something. It's crazy. It's far anyway. I flew out to the city of Winnipeg. I bought a van for like $400 or something. It was like an old Dodge Caravan, but it was reliable. It was rusty, but it ran well. I bought this really cheap van, and I got temporary plates on it, and I drove it back across Western Canada, picking stuff along the way. And what I did is I stopped at this place. I saw an ad online because I was looking for things that were for sale. And a guy said he had an old Pepsi sign for sale. So I said, okay, I'll come out and have a look. Turned out it was a scrapyard. And the scrapyard was full of really cool cars, hot rods, old bicycles. And amongst that was a Mercedes-Benz ambulance. And this guy had really cool stuff. I mean, I'm talking like 1960s show rods from California that he brought up when they were probably mint and then left in a scrapyard to rot, sadly. But you don't often come across a hot rod scrapyard, but that's kind of what it was. Anyway, he had this Mercedes ambulance. When I saw it, it was, you know, all in grass and stuff, and I couldn't really see what it looked like. And I got back home and I started thinking about it, and I called him back and I said, would you sell me the ambulance? He said, sure, $1,000, it's yours. I went, oh, okay. You know, he said it drove in there, so I thought, well, the motor's not probably too bad. It's a Mercedes, they're pretty reliable. Then went back out there on a road trip. That was the video with the second video I did was with the picture of the ambulance. There was one that was before that, and that was like cross Canada road trip. I don't know what it was called. It's an interesting watch if you want to see an early video of ours anyway. When I got there, the ambulance was really rough, but I'd agreed to buy it. So I'm a person that generally, if I agree to buy something, I buy it. Like, you know, I don't like to go back on my word. I feel like I'm a person of my word. You know, I feel like that's your integrity. So I bought it. And it was rough. Melissa's dad and I actually we're planning on doing some restoration work to it. But after we took the wooden flooring out of the back, we realized that there was no metal left of the floor. So I made the tough decision to sell it. Truth be told, that Mercedes would have been much more of an ideal delivery vehicle for me. I love the lines of those old Mercedes, and I think it would have been amazing. But I put it on eBay and it sold for $1,500, so I made $500 on it. We had a really fun adventure. I found a lot of antiques along the way, and it was our first YouTube video that kind of took off. And after I sold the Mercedes, I thought, yeah, you know, even though that one was rough and I couldn't fix it, an ambulance would be right. And so I kept looking and looking, and there was only one old ambulance car, like the one I have, for sale in all of Canada, and it was not far from our house. It was about 45 minutes from our house. I drove out there and picked it up and brought it back home. We've been driving it for the last, I think, 4 years or so, 3-4 years. And that's why we have the Ghostbuster ambulance. Well, it didn't have the Ghostbuster emblem on it. If you watch the video where we bought the Pontiac ambulance, you'll see that it has the proper cross on the door from it being an ambulance. But everywhere I went, people would be yelling on the streets, Ghostbusters! Whoa! And I'd be like, no, it's just an ambulance. And then you turn a corner and somebody else would be like, Ghostbusters! Ah! Like that.
Without having that thing.
Like actually like spit flying out of their mouths. Anyway, and so they would like freak out. And so I was like, okay, it's not the Ghostbusters car. The Ghostbusters car, I believe, is a 59 Cadillac. Mine is a 73 Pontiac, not even remotely the same car.
But I mean, it looks like it. Like it's still.
It doesn't, okay, it's an ambulance and it's white, but that's as close as it gets. But people think that I took a car and I modified it to look like the Ecto-1 and spent a great deal of money modifying it, when truth be told, it's a 100% stock ambulance, right down to the stretcher and everything in it. So after a while, I stuck the Ghostbuster stickers on the door. They sell them. Like there's licensed people that sell Ghostbuster stickers you can put on your door. So we bought them. I got an Ecto-1 plate for the front and Bob's your uncle. And now we drive around a car. It looks like a
Did you tell
Ghostbusters
them
car.
about Abigail turning on the siren?
Yeah, I mentioned that in a video the other day. We had the car, I was using it the other day, and we thought we'd take it out to the farm to just have fun. And the kids like riding it. It's really roomy in the back. They can sit backwards in it and stuff. It's pretty cool. They sit in the jump seat. So the kids were piling in the car. Abigail sits up front with us because there's a bench seat in the front. But she went to move, and her leg accidentally hit the switch that turns the sirens on. And that's
We're in the
scary enough.
neighborhood.
That's scary enough when the sirens go off in the car, because your brain is like, oh, there's sirens. And then you realize, oh, right, that's me. I'm the one making the sirens. You're like,
So
oh,
loud.
no, I'm
So
making
loud.
sirens. But at the same exact time across the street, there was a team of roofers up on the roof. So I got the sirens turned off, and those guys were like laughing their heads off because it probably scared they probably had to go change their pants afterwards.
It was like that laugh that like you're just thankful that you didn't just fall off a roof.
They survived a trauma.
Oh
We
my gosh.
traumatized a whole team of roofers on the building across the street from us. The house was getting a roof done.
They're laughing pretty good. Oh my
And then Abigail, the best part was, Dad, what did you do? What did I do? Anyway,
Dad.
yeah, so Abigail scared the heck out of people. Yes, the sirens and lights and everything work on it. In fact, when I got the vehicle, it still has neck braces. It has spine boards in it. It had an oxygen, no, I don't think it had the oxygen tank, but it had the jump kit, which is like a little toolbox full of all the medicines that would, I don't know, start your heart, and, all the crazy stuff that you shouldn't have was still in that thing. Then I took it all into a pharmacy to get them to dispose of it for me. It looked at me like I was some kind of drug dealer. Like, where did you get a bag full of dopamine? I'm like, I don't know, I bought an ambulance.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I was a troublemaker, I wouldn't be bringing it in here to dispose of. Anyway, but yeah, they treated me, they gave me the you're a criminal sort of treatment.
It was like the jump kit. So I mean, yeah.
Oh, all the stuff was there, and I didn't want it.
Like I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but we can take our medication, like anything you don't finish or expired medication you're supposed to take back to the drugstore, and they dispose of
Yeah, they
it for
dispose
you.
of it. Yeah.
But apparently they have to pay to dispose of it. So when we brought all that stuff in, they're like,
Well,
No.
I said like, because I went to they have an eco station here, which is a city-run place, and I took it there first, and they're like, you got to take it into a pharmacy. I'm like, okay.
yeah, it makes sense. They can dispose of it properly. And,
It is so hard to get rid of drugs in this city, legally.
and we were trying to make it like, as responsible as possible, because I mean, we didn't want anybody getting hurt or getting
We're
into the
responsible people. I don't want to have a bunch of
Yeah, what happens?
And just so you know, the narcotics that were in my vehicle were there because it was an ambulance, not because it was the drug dealer's ambulance. It was medical stuff that was left behind, and I
Yeah.
was like, uh-oh. So anyway, they finally took it in. Begrudgingly, they're like, fine, because I'm
Oh,
like,
I
well,
thought you
what's
just took it back to the eco station. I didn't
no,
think you took it.
no, the pharmacy took it.
Oh, good.
I was
thought
like,
this whole
well,
time.
they said take it to the eco station. I was like, I just came from there. They said to bring it into a pharmacy. I'm like, I don't want to be walking around with this stuff forever. And they're like, fine. And then they took it.
Good. I'm thankful that ended up being the.
Yeah. Anyway, see, yeah, we're not sketchy. we find a
Laugh after
well,
that.
find a suitcase full of drugs, and I go and turn it in and dispose of it. So there we go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Good cover story, guys.
that's a lot of ambulance talk. That's the most we've talked about the ambulance in a while.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
A
that's-
lot of stuff happened with the
But people like the ambulance. I even did a little drawing of the ambulance. We put on T-shirts on our Teespring site. So sometimes you
Yeah.
see like we have this little merch there, and it pops up. But
Josh is on right now. I can't remember what he said about the crew cab, but something about it being dope.
yeah, let's
How
see.
do you like the coffee table?
The coffee table is awesome, Josh.
Yeah, we really do like it a lot.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It's a piece of art. If you haven't watched Josh's video, where he was building that table for us. It just turned out lovely. He did such a great job of it. It completes the look that I wanted to go for in that room, which was you know, kind of modern, cozy, kind of like, you know, Restoration Hardware inspired.
Yeah,
Oversized-
fits that room better for sure.
Oversized leather couches, factory kind of cart table, like that's what I was after. Josh made that look come together for us, and the best part is the table that Josh built for us was Mary's pottery wagon that we found in the backyard and salvaged at her pottery studio. So we're able to actually have something that means something to us.
Josh
in our
is
house.
actually on here. For those of you that might not know who we're talking about, his name on here is Joshua Alexander. I don't know if you're still on, if you want to put some emojis up. You should check that vlog out. It's actually really good.
Yeah.
It's a longer one, but it didn't seem longer because it was super interesting. So
Josh is a great guy. And
yeah.
if you guys are watching my channel, you don't know who Josh is. Josh, that means we have to get you back doing some more stuff around the shop so people can see what you do. He's a very handy, talented person. So we're going to log off for now, guys. This was kind of a long live feed, and if you're watching this later on, you can skip through and get to the spots you want to watch.
But you just told them to do that at the very end. They'll be like, thanks a lot for that tip.
Yeah. Suckers! You watched the whole thing. Now I said you can skip the next 2 minutes. But either way, thank you for watching, guys, very much. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Should have another video out soon. I'm working on writing my own song, my own original song, which I'll probably put out in, I don't know, the next week or two anyway. The Rolls should have an update. We'll have an update on the car. I'll have an update on the building. Oh my goodness, life could not get any busier if I tried.
Oh, you should knock on some wood.
Yeah, or bought another hoarder house.
Oh.
Anyway, have a good night, guys. We'll see y'all soon, and bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.